So welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744, and today, guys, we'll be doing a little fun little video for you guys. And so I think from the new year, guys, we're gonna be doing like a fun video with a guest every month. And some of you guys were wondering, what about the January months? I didn't do January. Well, January I was busy, so I couldn't do that one. So maybe I'll do two videos for this month, or maybe I'll just do two in March. I'll make it up to you guys somehow. And yeah, we'll do one for each one. And I think this will be a good one to start with. And this was kind of one I was kind of just thinking of earlier today. In fact, the idea just came to me earlier today. And today we'll be discussing about most clutch players of the 21st century. And I got a special guest with me that is Doodle. Doodle knows some of these players that I'm not very well aware of. So he's going to help me break down some of these players. Some of these players are more known for the 2000s. And I'm kind of like, I know players like beyond 2010s, but the early 2000s, it's a bit hard for me since I didn't really see it that well. So, yeah, I mean, we're gonna do this, and guys, we're talking about clutch players. By the way, there's gonna be some players here that you're maybe surprised. Some players you're gonna be surprised we didn't include Messi, Ronaldo, and that is because we consider them more for consistency than being clutch. Although they are clutch, we're not saying they're not clutch.
And we also wanted to keep it interesting as well, because I feel like we would just be saying the same things we already repeat every time we talk about them. So
yeah. So obviously those players are clutch. We're not saying they're clutch. They're not clutch. It's just that I recognize them more as consistency, and I think Doodle does well, and I think majority of people recognize them.
And we're not saying these players are inconsistent either. They're going to be. It's just the moments, when they make the difference. That's what we're going off of. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, like I said, guys, sit back and enjoy. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So let's start with the first player we got here, and that is goalkeeper. And for me, Oliver Kahn for me is a standout pick. For me, he got that Germany team to the 2002 team. That was that was not a good Germany team. They had to come for the playoffs, by the way, mind you, and all the way to the World Cup final. And they were defeated by R9. And, we know how good R9 is at his top. He's one of the best strikers, just in pure ability wise. And it's not even just that. And Doodle, there's another example. There's also where he came
of course, and the picture that is actually from a year prior than Oliver Kahn helped Bayern win their first Champions League title in 25 years against Valencia at San Siro in 2001 Champions League final, where he made many saves during the game and also saved two penalties during the penalty shootout that eventually won it for Bayern. And of course, context also needs to apply is that 2 years prior to that, we all remember when Bayern made the 1999 Champions League final, they were leading against Manchester United, and we know what happened in that final at the Nou Camp when Manchester United made that crazy comeback. So from then on, with all of that taken into context, and I think even besides that, like Oliver Kahn, like in terms of what he represented, German football, Bayern Munich, it's just like he was definition of clutch. He always he was a leader, and he kept both teams so intact, and the saves that he used to pull off. And I mean, obviously, so many memes and videos about him arguing with opposition players and all, but I feel like mentality wise, he was a guy that was able to bail his teams out and in biggest moments really make them rise up and rile them up. And I think for me, Oliver Kahn, and it's a shame that he's not really talked about more, I think, in best goalkeeper debates, because he's before Neuer, Germany had Oliver Kahn, and that succession was a big reason why German football has been so great for so long. And I think Oliver Kahn, for me, I think he has to be in this.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So yeah, let's move to the right back. Right back for me, Danny Carvajal. And he just scored the most recent Champions League final 2024. He's been so consistent at the top. And I just feel like for me, he's been so instrumental to Real Madrid. And he's delivered for the big games. I think in 2017 also had a pretty fantastic game as well. Not mistaken, against Juventus.
I'm pretty sure he assisted Ronaldo, I think, for the first goal against Juventus.
Yeah.
There was other times as well, his crossing was so elite. He's defending as well. It's just, I also remember against, I think it was Wolfsburg in 2016 quarterfinals where he assisted Ronaldo again for the first goal, which obviously ended up in a comeback. But Danny Carvajal, his fingerprints are everywhere. When it comes to Real Madrid's success in the league and in Champions League, I think Danny Carvajal is he's you can always see his fingerprints on those success. He was so influential, and he's one of the most dominant right backs in the sports history.
Yeah, and speaking of clutch moments, he also had remember that assist he made to I think it was Rodrigo, and that game against
against Manchester City, right? Yep.
Yeah. So like those are some clutch ones. And so yeah, I mean, I think he's just a clutch player in general. He's always always delivered. He's put a heart and everything on the line.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's clutch, man. He's definitely clutch.
Yeah.
Let's move to center backs.
Um,
For me, this is a no brainer. This is a
I
no
think
brainer.
from this picture alone, he has to be like this picture alone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every viewer is gonna know what this is. Like this is like 2014 final. Real Madrid until then have not won the Champions League final since 2002. He broke a 12-year drought, and like they were losing against Atletico Madrid. And then there's
The
a
arch
corner.
rivals.
Yeah, the arch rivals. And then there's the Modric puts in a corner and Ramos scores. And lots of Real Madrid fans say that this is like, for me, and I think they always say like this is a goal that like not only like won them the Champions League, but like started that dynasty that have like won so many
Yes.
Champions Leagues. This goal is arguably like their most influential goal during that era because this was crazy. And even like he scored against Atletico again in the 2016 final, by the way. And he had like so many other moments. But I think this goal alone, it just summarizes. And I mean, Sergio Ramos, I think, was one of the first names on like the list of when making this because I mean, he's definition of clutch, right? I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean his goal scoring record as a center back is immaculate. Not many center backs can do that, and he's also clutch as well. He's not just scoring goals just to score goals. Like
right.
he has the important goals.
Yeah, but this goal though, oh
yeah, this goal is definitely his most significant goal, without a doubt.
yeah,
So yeah, shout out to Ramos for this one. Moving on to the other center back, and for me, it's a Barca compatriot, Carlos Puyol. Obviously, Carlos Puyol scored that goal in the semifinal against Germany 2010 to help Spain to win the World Cup, which they eventually defeated Netherlands in the final. And yeah, I just think Puyol has been amazing. Scored that goal there, and I think he also scored in that thrashing Barca had against Madrid. It was 6-2, I think it was, at the Bernabeu.
yeah.
He scored goals, leader at the pitch as well. And yeah, I mean, just Carlos Puyol in general is just clutch in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he also like he's obviously like I mean, it's just Carlos Puyol. I mean, he was like I don't think there's captains anymore like Carlos Puyol was, and like especially like in terms of, like his last ditch tackles, like the way he was able to lead teams. Obviously, the goals that he also had, like not like especially this goal against Germany, it's like Carlos Puyol had like so many big moments, and it just like it feels like he was like I feel like Barcelona during that era they needed someone like Carlos Puyol in the back because obviously their attack and midfield was great. But like in terms of defense, I mean, in terms of defense, like obviously you had Gerard Piqué and you had Dani Alves, and I guess you had Eric Abidal as well. But like Carlos Puyol was that guy, like that kept like
Yeah.
he was the guy that like he maintained that solidity and leadership in the back that allowed that I think gave more freedom to Barcelona's midfielders and attackers to operate. And I think that without Carlos Puyol, I don't know if that success that Barcelona had under Pep Guardiola would have really happened because I think he was just so crucial. And they saw him with the Spain national team as well. Like, and if y'all can see, we named like 3 Spanish defenders already. Dani Carvajal wasn't really part of that like golden generation of Spain, but like Sergio Ramos was, right? And Carlos Puyol is no exception as well.
Yeah, definitely. Puyol is definitely clutch. And left back, the guy recently just retired, and I think it's fitting that we included him because this guy is clutch, man. Like, do you guys remember that performance he had in the 2014 Champions League final against Atletico Madrid? I know we didn't include in this picture, but like that's also another clutch game where he came up clutch. They scored in the goal and the finals of left back, and also remember the game against Bayern Munich, that first leg, the 2018 Champions League semifinal. He was amazing in that game.
He scored. I think the year before that, when he ran through the entire Bayern team and set up Ronaldo. I think that whole run, like in that 2018 run itself, like I was 2017, but 2018, like he scored against, I'm pretty sure, I think he scored against PSG if I remember, or at least got in a goal contribution. He did it against Juventus as well. He scored against Juventus as well. Then against Bayern, then assisted Gareth Bale for that goal in the Champions League final against Liverpool. The overhead kick. I mean, Marcelo is just this guy's crossing. Like this guy's crossing to like Ronaldo, for example. I don't even know how that was even legal, how that was even allowed, because that was like so inevitable. But like this guy was just able to find like Marcelo is just crazy. Like he's arguably one of, if not the best left back of all time. And one of the reasons is because he has every like big game. He has like you can see his effect. Like he was so technical and he was so gifted, and he's crossing. I mean, and even his dribbling and speed. It's just Marcelo was a freak, man. He was crazy.
Yeah, Marcelo, man, amazing dribbler and passer and goal scorer, just crazy, man. And nowadays we don't see fullbacks do this amount of goal scoring nowadays. We just don't see it. We just don't see it. We just don't see these nowadays.
He was ahead of his time, I think. He was really ahead of his time.
Yeah. And then
Zidane,
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is arguably like the greatest Champions League final goal ever. Like, I mean, it's not even just that. I mean, a year like 4 years prior, 2 goals against Brazil in the 1998 final, the World Cup final. 4 years after this, the goal against Italy in the World Cup final, the opener, the penalty, when he like literally did a panenka that went off the crossbar against Buffon. We all know why what Zidane is known for that final, but like I'm still saying, but like even with that, like the big moments, big games, this moment like, against Leverkusen, I mean, Zidane was like, he was insane. Like he was just crazy, like everywhere. Like, and I know people sometimes say maybe Zidane wasn't like always the most consistent, but one thing with Zidane is like you knew like in a big moment he could always like he could take over. Like actually, in that 2006 World Cup against Brazil, like that was his final like ever tournament. Like he was retiring after that. Against Brazil and against Spain, he took over the game single-handedly. Like he dominated both. Like he just took over. And that Brazil team, by the way, were the defending champions, right, of the World Cup. He just took over. And like this for me is like Zidane was just inevitable. He was like arguably the most dominant midfielder ever. Like crazy.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, one of a kind of a player, and we're probably not going to see a player like him anytime soon.
I don't think so. Because, like, again, in terms of dominance, pure dominance, and like pure ability to like take over a game single-handed, like as a midfielder, I don't know if there's any like how Zidane was, because this guy was able to just take games over, like by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah. Then moving on to the next one, Steven Gerrard, man. Now you can criticize them for not winning the Premier League at Liverpool, but one thing you cannot deny: the guy's clutch. And that performance against Milan, against the peak Milan team in 2005, Champions League final, is probably one of the best clutch games I've seen.
And also, it's not only was that a great Milan team, not only was that like a Champions League final, they were down 3-0. And this goal from Steven Gerrard, this goal was like, it lifted something. Like if without this goal, they don't, because this goal from Gerrard, it was a great goal as well, but this goal from Gerrard, it was like, this like revived Liverpool. Like it killed Milan's momentum and it just grew Liverpool's momentum. And it's not even just this goal. Like, Gerrard has many other goals as well, right? Against Olympiacos in the FA Cup final against West Ham. Like
West Ham.
This guy, like, and there's so many, like, and by the way, this Liverpool team overall, it wasn't the greatest, especially against Milan. Like if you look at the lineups, if you go look at the 2005 like lineups, you would think Milan should be like slapping the Liverpool team, right? And they were doing that. But then Gerrard just took over. And I think for me, like Steven Gerrard, I feel like he's a bit disrespected by the fact that he has no Premier League titles, but I feel like he's one of the greatest ever midfielders in Premier League history. And I think he should be respected a bit more. And especially when he came to like big goals in big moments, Gerrard always like bailed Liverpool out. And I think that has to be commendable. That is,
yeah, Gerrard, man, what a player, clutch player, and he got a Champions League, and a Champions League is still pretty big. It's still pretty big. It's not,
especially like they weren't even favorites. Like they were up against a juggernaut, a European juggernaut who won the Champions League 2 years prior. So yeah.
Let's move on to the next player, and that is Di Maria. Di Maria, this guy is a baller, especially in finals. Guys, do you guys know he scored in 3 finals for Argentina? Copa America final, World Cup final, and the Olympics final. 3 goals, and he also was man of the match in the 2014 Champions League final for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is a final specialist. I
actually have a hot take. I know Mbappe was like, I know Messi and Mbappe were like named like there was like this going back and forth, like, oh, who was the man of the match? The 2022 World Cup final. For me, Di Maria was the man of the match, honestly. like I think Di Maria that first half, like he won the penalty, he scored,
won the penalty as well.
And also during the second half, Argentina. A lot of people forget like the second half also like Argentina were in control up until like the last 10 minutes of the game, and that was down to like Di Maria still playing so well. Like he made Koundé look stupid that day. And I mean, Dembele put in arguably his worst ever performance in his career, arguably, when he got hooked at before halftime. And one of the reasons was because the way the levels between him and Di Maria. And Di Maria, I think Di Maria, that final was also like, and Di Maria in big games in general, like, you just knew he was going to do something. Like, he was just so crazy. It's just, and he still is like, Di Maria has always been like, and yeah, I feel like he's definitely as a player as well. Like he's kind of underrated. I feel like in a way, like he is a very good winger, and I think for me, like Di Maria is definitely like, yeah, I mean he's definition of clutch, and he's definition like a big moment, big games, big moments. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely, man. And now we go to the strikers, man. And I'm gonna let Doodle take over.
Oh my god. This guy. So. Yeah. Diego Il Principe Milito. This is one of my favorite players ever. And there's a big reason why. And this final is one of them. So what Milito did in this week, right? Inter were in the trouble hunt. First we had the Coppa Italia final against Roma, who, by the way, at around the time, Inter and Roma were big rivals because we always competed with each other. Like, especially like after Calciopoli, those two teams were like the ones that like got better, top of Italian football. And Roma have had our number in Coppa Italia finals up until then. But in that final, Milito scored, and then Totti got sent off. But, Milito scored. And then after that, in the Serie A final match day against Siena away at Artemio Franchi, again, we needed to win the title. And who was it, the man who stepped up before that? Diego Milito. He again stepped up, and we won 1-0 and won the Serie A. And it does not even end there. And then, of course, 3 days after that, Champions League final against Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu in the 2010 Champions League final. Obviously, it was a fairly even game until then. And then someone had to step up to decide the game, and it was Diego Milito, who receives the pass from Schneider for the first goal and then scores it. And then again, after that, he makes it 2-0. And after that, you knew Inter were finally going to win their first Champions League in like a century, essentially. Like, for me, Diego Milito, and it's not just that. Around prior, he scored against Barcelona to make it 3-1. And before that, also, he scored against CSK Moscow. And actually, as a child, I went to a group stage match. It was Dynamo Kiev against Inter. And we actually needed to win that game in order to, like, make it out the group stage, essentially. And because we were getting a lot of draws in that group stage. It was kind of tough. But, and around, like, we were losing. It was like, I remember because I went there. It was like -10 degrees, I think. And it was like, we were losing. It was snowing. And it was like, and then Milito steps up and Schneider step up to like guide us to victory in very, very tough situations. But Milito, again, was one of the reasons for that. And I think overall, like, Milito for me is just, in terms of like big moments, especially during that, because he single-handedly, in a way, won Inter the treble. And I think he has to be in this because, like, Diego Milito will always remain as he's my favorite striker ever. And I don't know if that's ever going to change, but, like, I love Milito so much. And I mean, this guy was like definition of clutch around that time. And he also was clutch. Like, in fact, when he played for Real Zaragoza, like before coming to Inter, before going to Genoa, he scored 4 goals against Real Madrid in a game they won 6-1. 6-1 against Real Madrid. He scored 4 goals in that game. Like, I'm just telling you. Like, so this guy was just crazy. Like, there's not going to be I don't know if there's ever going to be like a striker like Milito when it comes to like inevitability, like in big games, except one that we're going to talk about after. But like, but besides that, like, Milito was just crazy. Like, he just, like, you knew like he was going to pop up. And by the way, he wasn't even young. He was getting old, like, around this time. Like, the way that he was just able to like decide games, Milito was just insane. Like, I cannot speak enough of Diego Milito.
Yeah, thank you for all those words. Because he's definitely probably Inter's most clutch player. Probably going to be for all time.
Probably, yeah.
And, he was probably one of the main reasons why you guys won the treble. And the fact he delivered in all 3 of the decisive games in the final
in 1 week. 3 games. 1 week.
1 week. 1 week. That
4 goals scored by Inter. All 4 of them by Milito. I mean,
that's insanity. And Inter 2010 team treble. And who knows if that's ever going to happen again. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So, yeah, shout out to Milito. And I think he's underrated, in my opinion. I think he's underrated.
And I mean, when I mentioned that, like, I saw your reaction, like, Zaragoza, like 4 goals against Real Madrid, one game, a 6-1 demolition. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think, would you say he's like one of the more underrated players of the century?
Yeah, definitely. Because, like, and you know what's a shame? It's a shame that Maradona did not take him and Zanetti to the 2010 World Cup. And we know how horrible Argentina were in that World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's like,
Yeah, it's a shame. Moving on to the next striker. This striker.
So I did say there's probably not going to be a striker like someone like as clutch as Milito. Like we've never seen it, but I did say except one that comes after, and I think that one is obviously Didier Drogba, right? I mean,
Drogba.
The goal. This goal itself, like, against Bayern Munich in their own backyard, by the way, in the 2012 Champions League final
at the Allianz Arena.
A header at the Allianz Arena, and then he scores the winning penalty as well to win Chelsea their first ever Champions League. And by the way, Didier Drogba had a redemption because 4 years prior, when they lost against Manchester United in the final, right? He actually got sent off.
Penalties. Yeah, they lost on penalties.
Yeah, and the big reason is because Didier would, and there's one of the what ifs is, what if Drogba never got sent off in that final and actually played the penalty shootout? Who knows, right? Yeah. But yeah, that was it. But like again, goals in the FA Cup finals, like goals in big games as well. In Premier League as well in Champions League, but like, and this Bayern goal against Bayern, I mean, Didier Drogba. A lot of people criticize Drogba and say maybe he wasn't like the most clinical striker, like the most consistent. But as I said, like if a game is on the line and like a cup final is on the line for me, I want Didier Drogba in my team because he's gonna come up clutch.
And remember, guys, that Bayern team was very good. That was a very good Bayern team as well. So that was a really good Bayern team. So the fact that he managed to do that as the underdogs against a Bayern team at their stadium is very commendable.
I'm pretty sure he also scored against Barcelona in the semifinals, and like when Chelsea won 1-0 at the Stamford Bridge, right? And I think in that run. So
I believe so. And most of these players that we talked about clutch so far have been in the superior teams. This is probably the one. This might be the only one that's on the underdog team.
Well, actually, to be a Liverpool, Gerrard.
Yeah, Gerrard too. So most of these players have been the superior team. I think him and Gerrard are probably the two exceptions.
Yeah, and to be fair, Milito though, Inter won that treble, but like that was not like an expected treble. Like it was like the most dominant treble. That was like it really is. So I think, but in a way, yeah. But I think these,
these two are definitely So shout out to Drogba, man. Out of the final player, this guy, man,
Gareth Bale.
Wow, Gareth Bale, man. To do what he did in 2018 Champions League final to score a bicycle kick in the final.
Like how do you even have like guts to do that though? How do you even have the guts to do that?
That's bonkers. And I know people are gonna say, you gotta put. I know people are gonna say carrier's tax and everything. And yes, there is a carrier's tax.
Yeah, but to be fair, which keeper was saving that bicycle? There's no keeper.
Yeah, the bicycle kick though. No top keeper is gonna save that bicycle.
No, nobody's. You can even put 2 keepers in net. It's still going in. Like that was just crazy. Like, and it's not even just that. Like there were so many moments, like against Barcelona in the 2014 Copa del Rey final, where he just he ran past Marc Bartra by going running off from the pitch and just going back in and then scoring. Like other games as well. Like even for Spurs as well. And let's not forget what he did for Wales. Like help them qualify, help them get to the 2016 Euros semifinals, help them qualify for the World Cup. Like, Gareth Bale was like definition of clutch. This guy, and if y'all notice, is like we actually wrote 6 former Real Madrid players in this. Well, I think Carvajal is still there, but yeah, that's a bit funny because you had Di Maria, Bale, Ramos. You had Carvajal, you have Marcelo, like Zidane as well. But that's how it is. But Gareth Bale, I think for me, he has to be clutch. He was just crazy. And not even just that. I actually remember when you made a community post, when you see one single individual brilliance. I said against my team, it was Gareth Bale when we actually beat Spurs 4-3, but Gareth Bale scored a hat trick at the San Siro against defending European champions Inter. We won, but it was 4-3. But he basically retired Maicon and Zanetti in that night because he was just, oh my God, Gareth Bale was just insane.
Wasn't he a wingback in that game?
Yeah, left back.
That's even more insanity. The fact he's a wingback to score a hat trick is insanity. Like that's
Yeah.
just it's ridiculous. So yeah, but we're gonna quickly reel off some honorable mentions. Let's do so. Honorable mention goes to Iniesta. We were really close to putting Iniesta this 11.
Yeah.
I really
Neymar,
really
I think,
want.
is also an honorable mention. I think Neymar was like
Yeah, Namor is one.
John Terry, I
Mandzukic
think,
also.
for center backs.
Yeah, yeah. Mandzukic I think is also under.
Yeah.
Mandzukic
Maldini, I
also
think,
one.
also like Philip
Maldini.
Lahm. Like yeah. For goalkeepers, I mean, you can make so many plenty like like Iker Casillas. Iker Casillas
Yeah,
is one. I think Gianluigi Buffon. You can even go recent. Maybe you can even include Emi Martinez and Thibaut Courtois. Who knows? Like right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Then a current striker. Maybe you could also include Giroud. Giroud always comes up clutch in
Probably,
big
yeah,
games.
maybe.
Yes.
Arguably. I think there was also some other like really clutch players as well. I mean, I think that I mean, obviously Messi and Ronaldo. I think that's no. I'm even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
R9, maybe even Ronaldinho. Like, right?
Ronaldinho, R9. So yeah, I'm sure there's some other honorable mentions we can think of, but obviously, there's so many. We're not gonna be here all day. So I
Yeah.
want you guys to let me know in the comments below. What is your best 11 of? I mean, sorry, best most clutch 11s in the comments below, and also let me know if there's any honorable mentions you guys have, and let me know if there's any big talking points we missed, because I'm sure there probably might be
Yeah.
when we discuss these players. So if you guys did enjoy this video, guys, please run a like and subscribe as well, and let me know if you guys like this kind of new idea that maybe we'll do monthly, like
Yeah.
have a guest and do like a random topic that's like kind of like a general topic.
Yeah, it's a
So if you
bit
guys
like we
want to see
always
that,
talk about like intense stuff about football. This is like more of a chill thing, right? It's a bit more of a
yeah,
laid back
yeah,
topic. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see that. And yeah, hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
See you.